The following video today is brought to you by Keeps. Stay tuned until the end to find out more. A few years ago, when the Me Too movement happened in Hollywood, it took out a plethora of mainstream celebrities with a range of accusations. But for the most part, the world of online creators were left alone. While it's hard to say exactly why that is, as of right now, around a dozen names in the YouTube and Twitch community have been called out in the past week. Under normal circumstances, any one of these stories could be their own video, but today I wanted to look at three of the most high-profile cases on YouTube: Jenna Marbles, Angry Joe, and Shane Dawson. Then give my conclusion as to why I think this is happening right now, even though they are being called out for things that happened years ago. While they all got wrapped up in this same round of coverage, the wrongdoing they're accused of varies quite a bit, along with their way of handling it, which is what I want to analyze today. I think the most bizarre of these cases is Jenna Marbles, mostly because of how she responded. The first thing that should be said about Jenna is she is part of a small group who has managed to remain one of the most popular YouTubers on the platform since the beginning of her career in 2009. Recently, however, a few videos she made almost a decade ago have begun to resurface, with some people accusing her of racism and misogyny. Despite these uploads having been put on private years ago, Jenna actually decided to get out in front of the story by making a video entitled "A Message." In this video, she plays clips from the offending sketches and explains in detail why she now believes they were wrong, and why she regrets making them. One of these videos from 2011 depicts Jenna pretending to be Nicki Minaj. Another video from that same year is a rap where she says an arguably offensive line. The last of these videos from 2012 included a rant from Jenna against women who slept around a lot. On top of this, she also apologized for a popular series of videos she made about the differences between men and women, which no one seemed to be outraged by from what I can tell. She concluded the video by apologizing profusely for any offense she may have caused, and announced that she would be quitting YouTube. Following this news, Jenna saw an incredible wave of support from the YouTube community. People as large as PewDiePie all chimed in saying that Jenna was one of the kindest people they had ever met. While people are blaming cancel culture for Jenna quitting the internet, I can't help but feel that's not what's happening here. The backlash she's received seemed to be very minimal, with her going above and beyond with the apology. I theorize that she may be going through some personal problems and had been considering taking a hiatus from YouTube for some time, with the current events being the catalyst for her to come out to make a final apology video before leaving for good. Moving on, the next case I'd like to cover is that of Angry Joe, a video game reviewer who got his start on That Guy with the Glasses back in 2008. The controversy started on June 20th when a Twitter user named Queen of the Feeders, who I'll be referring to as Ashley, wrote a Medium article entitled "My Interaction with Angry Joe." In this article, she told a story about how she met Joe at a party during PAX East in 2018. They apparently got along very well at first, exchanging small talk and pleasantries throughout the night. When the party was over and she returned to her Airbnb, Ashley received a DM from Joe inviting her to his panel the next day, which she happily accepted. In this message, Joe also made some flirtatious comments, but it didn't seem to go that much further. After the panel, Joe took Ashley out to dinner, but first they had to stop at his hotel. Joe invited Ashley up to his room, and even though she was uncomfortable, agreed anyway. When they got there, Joe began to take a shower, which he jokingly asked if she wanted to join. She refused and sat around awkwardly waiting for him to finish before they could go to get dinner. After he got out, he invited her to sit down next to him to talk, at which point she outright told him she felt uncomfortable as she thought that they would be going to dinner. Joe responded by saying that they still were, they just needed to wait for the table to be ready. They made some small talk, Joe pulled out his phone and awkwardly took a selfie of the two of them, and finally they left for the restaurant. When they arrived, Ashley quickly realized that this dinner was a business meeting for Joe, and that she really didn't belong there at all. After some more awkward small talk, Joe took her to a YouTube party where they began getting drunk. At this point, Ashley's boyfriend, who was also at PAX, began calling her, as he hadn't heard from her all day and was beginning to get worried. This is now when a drunk Joe learned that she had a boyfriend, to which he reportedly said, "You're no better than every other girl. I thought you were better than that. You're no better than every other girl who uses me to get contacts and to grow their platform." Following the posting of the article, Joe began to see a fair amount of scrutiny from the online community. So a few days later, he posted a twit longer in response. According to him, he had never had any sexual intentions with Ashley. When they met, she reportedly introduced herself as someone who was interested in networking and branching out, which is why Joe invited her to that business dinner in the first place. Joe ended his twit longer by saying that his lawyer would be sending a cease and desist letter to Ashley, and he would consider pursuing further legal action against her. Since then, Ashley has deleted her Medium article. I have to say that Joe gets an A+ in how he handled this controversy. He didn't get into Twitter debates with random people, nor did he go on a live stream rambling about how the woman is a liar. Instead, he concisely denied the allegations, got in touch with a lawyer, then soon after posted a well-thought-out rebuttal to the claims made against him before people had time to make up their own theories. I can't help but feel if most YouTubers followed this model, their lives wouldn't always self-destruct at the first sign of backlash. The final case I'd like to talk about today is that of Shane Dawson, a YouTuber who has seen his fair share of controversy over the course of his career. In the early days, Shane was known for his outrageously edgy and offensive content. Recently, however, he's been trying to pivot towards creating documentaries instead. So every time his new fans discover his old content, a whole new wave of outrage begins. This has happened many times in the past, from old videos of him in blackface and saying the N-word to a clip from a podcast in which he makes a very inappropriate joke about a cat, all of which he has apologized for many times. Most recently, Shane has come under fire for an old clip that has resurfaced, depicting him and his then-girlfriend Lisa Schwartz asking Shane's 12-year-old cousin incredibly inappropriate questions, and demonstrating sexual acts to her while her mother was out of the room. In addition, another old clip has been making rounds, this one depicting Shane pretending to masturbate to a poster of Willow Smith, who was at the time only 11 years old. This clip has drawn the anger of many members of the Smith family, including her brother and her mother, both of which called him out directly on Twitter. Shane also released a lengthy video apologizing for everything he had ever done. According to him, that clip with his cousin hadn't even struck him as being that bad at the time of making it, since his entire family supposedly shares a similarly dark and twisted sense of humor. However, he made sure to add that he now fully understands why it was wrong and why people were so angry about it. The point he made sure to stress more than anything else was that he no longer recognizes the person he used to be in those old videos, and plans to continue to distance himself from his old brand of content as much as he possibly can. Unfortunately for Shane, I'm not sure if there's anything he can do to make this outrage subside. While I just covered the most high-profile Shane clips being spread, people are now digging up dozens of others, with some going as far as to comb through decade-old live streams to unearth even more inappropriate sound bites, which, might I add, is bringing up results. He was on YouTube in a time where people made shock comedy, but even in that context, his jokes involving children were so frequent that people now believe there may be something more to it than just offensive comedic stunts. Yes, that may be unjustified, and he has reshaped his public image since then, but sometimes portions of your past will haunt you for the rest of your life, whether it's fair or not. This leads back to the question posed at the start. Why are so many people being called out now? While it's easy to just point at the wider public discussion that is happening as the cause for these accusations, I think there's another factor that most people don't seem to mention: coronavirus. With everyone locked inside their houses with nothing else to do for months, it has led many to have time on their hands to think about how they were wronged in the past by a YouTuber, or remember an offensive video you watched from a decade ago. With this extra time, you might spend it digging through someone's back catalog of work to compile unflattering material. And once it's posted, there's plenty of others that see it as an opportunity to do the same. With the Me Too movement, you had a lot of journalists digging through this stuff, but they weren't very concerned with YouTubers. So people have become their own journalists to dig up all the things that YouTubers have done in the past. Add to this a maturing industry, and I think it was a perfect time for a domino effect of accusations against online creators to come out. To be clear, I'm not saying what accusations are and aren't justified here, but rather pointing out the unique circumstances we're living in that facilitated this round of scrutiny. All I know is the range of creators being called out right now is very large, and I really have no idea who will be next. Hey everybody, before I finish this video today, I just want to give a very big thank you to my sponsor, Keeps. Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? Once it's gone, it's very hard to get back. But the best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. This is where Keeps comes to play. They provide the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. you may have tried before, but probably never at this price. On top of being affordable, it's also really simple. You don't have to go to a doctor's office since you could get a prescription right off the website. After that, they'll mail the medication directly to your house. So if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/GFM or click the link in the description down below to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/GFM.